Once upon a time, there was something in the ocean. It specialized in hunting sperm whales, and it was hairless. 2008. At a fossil excavation site in Peru, scientists discovered a collection of sperm whale skulls. All of them had been violently torn apart. Their brains had been devoured completely. The culprit left behind a row of tooth marks, reaching a depth of 15 centimeters. What kind of scale is that? The bite force of a modern orca is 1.9 tons. This creature's bite force skyrocketed to 16 tons. It could crush a car. It is called Livyatan. The marine hegemon from 13 million years ago, July 2008. In the Pisco Desert of southern Peru, paleontologist Klospos unearthed a skull 3 meters long, weighing over half a ton. The most shocking part was the 40 serrated fangs in its mouth. Each tooth was 36 centimeters long and 12 centimeters in diameter, equivalent to the distance from an elbow to a wrist, as thick as a 12-liter soda bottle. Even more terrifying is that these teeth were not just for show. The surfaces of the teeth were covered in dense scratch marks, indicating that it frequently bit into hard objects. Biting what? Biting bones. The bones of other marine animals. The team used the name of the earth-shattering sea monster from the Bible. To name it, Livyatan. And they also used the name of Moby Dick. Author Herman Melville to call it Livyatan melvillei, because it was indeed an ancient relative of the sperm whale. It just chose a completely different evolutionary path. Modern sperm whales have large heads with almost no teeth on the upper jaw, relying on suctioning deep-sea squid for survival, but the upper and lower jaws of Livyatan were filled with huge, functional teeth. 18 in the upper jaw, 22 in the lower jaw, perfectly interlocking when biting, forming a scissor-like cutting mechanism. Every bite was essentially sharpening its own blades. Paleontologists have reconstructed its hunting sequence. First, Livyatan used the spermaceti organ in its head to emit low-frequency sound waves. With a detection range of up to 1,400 meters, you haven't even seen it yet, but it has already locked onto you. Then, its 60-ton body would begin to accelerate. Its head would slam into the prey, breaking ribs, rupturing internal organs. Finally, its 40 giant teeth would close like scissors. The prey would be bitten in two. The entire process would take less than a minute. What exactly did it eat? The answer is chilling. It ate whales in 2010. Paleontologist Olivier Lambert published a paper in the journal Nature, clearly pointing out that Livyatan's primary prey were 7 to 10 meter long, medium-sized baleen whales. Why? Because whales are essentially bundles of fat with an extremely high caloric density. As a mammal, Livyatan was warm-blooded. The energy it consumed daily was an astronomical figure. Eating fish and shrimp simply wouldn't satisfy it. Only by consuming whale blubber could it sustain this machine of war. Fossil evidence shows its prey could weigh up to 11 tons, heavier than a fully loaded truck. It could even bite an animal like that to death. Speaking of which, there's an unavoidable topic. Who was stronger, Livyatan or Megalodon? Both were top predators of the same era and region, sharing the same diet. In terms of size, Megalodon was likely larger, estimated to reach up to 20 meters, weighing over 80 tons, with a bite force of 100,000 to 180,000 newtons, capable of crushing a car into iron scrap. But Livyatan had several advantages. First, it was a mammal. Its warm-blooded metabolism and stamina far exceeded the cold-blooded shark. Second, it possessed a brain. Its intelligence was overwhelming. It might have even used sonar for detection and attacks. Third, its teeth were larger and deeper, providing better impact resistance. Fourth, it might have hunted in groups. If 3 Livyatans took on 1 Megalodon, with a combined weight of 180 tons, attacking from 3 different directions simultaneously, the Megalodon would undoubtedly perish. But would they really fight? The answer is quite interesting. No. Why? Because the risk is too high, and the reward is too small. If a megalodon killed an adult Livyatan, it would gain 60 tons of meat. But the cost would be head injuries from the collision, wounds from 40 serrated fangs, leading to potential infection, disability, or death. If a Livyatan killed a megalodon, it would gain 80 tons of meat. But the cost would be having its spine snapped by a 100,000 Newton bite force, dying on the spot. So, they chose the smartest strategy, avoiding each other. Fossil evidence shows Livyatan and megalodon coexisted for nearly 5 million years, suggesting they found an equilibrium. Niche differentiation. Megalodon mainly hunted large baleen whales, attacking from below in an ambush. Livyatan mainly hunted medium tosmal-toothed whales, chasing and attacking from behind. Even more shocking is that all our knowledge of Livyatan comes from a single head. That's right, to this day. The only confirmed Livyatan fossils are the partial skull unearthed in Peru in 2008, along with teeth and a jawbone. Just this little bit of evidence. Not even a single rib. All our speculations about this species, its size, weight, and hunting style, are based entirely on half a head, calculated by analogy with modern sperm whales. In other words, we have likely seen less than 10 fontarum of what Livyatan truly looked like. The rest is all reasonable conjecture by scientists. What does this mean? It means its true combat capability might be even more outrageous than we currently think. However, later in Chile, Argentina, South Africa, California, USA, and even Australia, giant sperm whale tooth fossils suspected to be Livyatan, or its close relatives, have been found one after another. In 2016, Victoria, Australia, a 30-centimeter long serrated tooth was found, dating back about 5 million years, indicating that Livyatan, or its kin, may have had a global distribution and persisted longer than previously estimated. So why did it go extinct? The answer is even more surreal than the monster itself. What killed Livyatan was not a stronger predator. It was not a natural disaster. It was a slow global cooling. As the lake climate began to chill, ocean temperatures dropped. The diversity of baleen whale populations began to shrink. Some species disappeared outright, while others began to grow exponentially in size, reaching 20 or 30 meters, becoming today's blue whales. Fin whales and Livyatan began to starve, because small baleen whales became increasingly scarce, and large baleen whales were simply too big to bite into. Meanwhile, sea levels dropped. Many bays became enclosed inland seas. Livyatan populations were trapped inside, unable to migrate, unable to breed, eventually starving to death. Plus, predatory dolphins began to rise, seizing Livyatan's ecological niche. Under this triple blow, Livyatan went extinct. Does this script sound familiar to you? It invested all its skill points in one direction, creating the world's most perfect whale killer, but forgot to leave a way out. Whereas those less extreme species, like the orca, average in size, average in strength, but eating everything, going everywhere, thriving in both cold and warm waters. It is this jack-of-all trades strategy that has allowed it to survive to this day, becoming the true hegemon of the modern ocean. Livyatan spent 13 million years forging itself into the perfect weapon, but forgot one thing. Weapons serve the environment. When the environment changes, even the most perfect weapon becomes nothing more than an exhibit. What is poignant is that Livyatan actually walked from land into the sea. 50 million years ago, its ancestor was called Pakicitus, a four-legged land mammal. That made a living catching fish by the river. A small creature, waiting by the shore, decided one day to go into the water and never came back up. The entire evolutionary process took about 20 million years. Whales that moved from land to sea split into two camps later on. one group abandoned their teeth, switching to baleen to filter the ocean, specializing in eating krill. Following a route of high volume and sustenance, these are today's blue whales. The other group sharpened their teeth more and more, specializing in hunting large prey. Livyatan is the extreme result of that path. It was a close relative of the modern sperm whale, but modern sperm whales chose to eat deep-sea squid, their teeth becoming smaller and smaller, while Livyatan went the opposite way, sharpening its teeth larger and larger, eventually turning itself into a war machine designed specifically to tear apart its own kind. The same ancestor. Two paths, two destinies. One survived to this day. The other vanished into history. What if Livyatan lived today? Scientists have run simulations. Given its size and hunting style, the modern marine ecosystem simply could not support such an apex predator. It would need to eat hundreds of kilograms of meat daily to maintain its 60-ton weight, and in the modern ocean, there is no longer enough large prey to satisfy its appetite, not to mention that human whaling has already caused whale populations to plummet. If Livyatan were still alive, it would probably starve to death, or it would change its diet, starting to attack human fishing vessels. The scene alone is chilling to think about, but history has no what-ifs. We have only found one Livyatan skull. Based on this single skull, we have inferred everything about it, but we will never know what it looked like leaping out of the water under the moonlight, the sound of its low growl in the deep sea, the light in its eyes when confronting a Those are forever left in the ocean 13 million years ago. What does this story tell us? Being powerful does not mean being eternal. Adaptation is the true way. Extreme specialization is an advantage in a stable environment. Once the environment changes, it becomes a fatal weakness. The lesson of Livyatan is worth deep contemplation for everyone. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Do not make yourself a tool designed to do only one thing. Leave some room. Leave a way out. Maintain the ability to change. That is true strength. I dedicate these words to you and to myself.